Hello, and welcome. Welcome one, welcome all. Let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear in the chat there. All right, and we're here just to give you an update of what you should be expecting at the London Diamond League stop this Saturday. Yes, and you want to ensure that you're definitely sticking and staying with us. If you're new to this space, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, listener, subscriber, welcome back, welcome back. Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We do that in a respectful way to ensure that we're maintaining our safe community where everyone feels a sense of belonging. So, welcome. Wherever you're tuned in from, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, we're going to get down to business. So, I am just going to share the screen where we can view it together to see some of the athletes and some of the events, and just to find out from you what are your expectations regarding the London Diamond League stop. And yes, we're going to have some tea. All right, so let me know where you're tuned in from. That would be fantastic as well. All right, so I'm just going to get this screen going for you guys there in the chat. So as you come on in, please let me know where you're tuned in from. All right, so that would be fantastic. So that should be coming up on screen there. And again, welcome one, welcome all. And let me just try to adjust my screen here. All right, so let me just try to do that as best as I can. So you should be seeing on screen there, and I am just trying to fix this. So the time there on screen for the events is pretty much in London time, I believe. All right, so we're going to focus on the events, the Diamond League events, but importantly for Jamaica too, we're also going to focus on the 4 by 100 meters relay for men. The women, they're there as well, but we know that they have been qualified. So we're going to look at those events too. All right, so let's start with the long jump, and let's just see the athletes who are here at this point, and things can change. All right, so it could be a situation where these athletes may not show up for whatever reason, but that's the first event, and we should see Liam, Simon, Mattia, Tajay, Samuel, Carey, Wayne, and Miltiadis. All right, so we have three Jamaicans here. All right, so we'll definitely see what happens. So if you're in the chat, please remember to hit that thumbs up button. That is definitely important. And let me know where you're tuned in from as well. Would love to give you a big Voices in Education welcome. Tech Gaming, and look at that. Tech Gaming is a top fan here. I see that. Good morning to you too. How are you doing? All right, so that's the long jump for men, and you want to ensure that you're tuned into us because we'll be here Saturday morning. And let me tell you, Jamaica time, it's going to be about 7:15 Jamaica time because we want to be here for the relay. All right, the relays, the 100 meters, because a lot of Jamaicans were very interested in that. So let's move on to the next Diamond League event, and that will be the discus for men. All right, so now in that event, so this is the discus for men. All right, we should have Michaelis, all right, Christian, all right, Henry or Henrik, Lawrence, Nicholas, Claudio, Daniel, Roger Stoner. Now, we know the situation or what has been in the news concerning Roger Stoner. So while Roger may have the Jamaican flag aligned here, we know too that Roger, or we have heard in in the media that Roger is likely to switch allegiance to Turkey. All right, so for now, represented under the Jamaican flag, but we know of that update, so just want to highlight you in that one. All in the game, all right. Number two there, top fan. All right, and Big Man says winning the discus. All right. So let us that we're here. So that's from Slovenia, I believe. All right, and the tech gaming is doing well. So tech gaming 7:50. So that would be perhaps about 6:15. Your time in Bahamas there. All right, so that's the context there. And this is the next event that we'll be very much interested in is this 4 by 100 meters relay for men. Now we know that Jamaica, they had some goings at it, and unfortunately, so at the World Relays, they weren't able to get the time, or let's say the baton around in the first place, because that happened in the very first instant there with that mishap, and then the second time again with Julian there, always between Julian and Johan, that leg there. So even with the repechage, they weren't able. So the second round at the World Relays, Jamaica, the 4x1 men's team, they weren't able to carry that stick around and even manage to get a qualifying time. So now they're chasing that time and they have until August 24th to get that time. So they had a try just recently and it didn't work out. And so now they're going to London. But this team, from what I have heard, going to London, we should have on this one Kishane Thompson, yes, Oblique Civil, yes, Akeem Blake, and I believe Rohan Watson. So a strong team that should more likely than not get that qualifying time. All right, and all in the game is saying Jamaica has to run sub 38.20 to qualify. All right, you're welcome, Tech Gaming. So that's the context there. So we'll be here to to get this update and to share it with you as soon as we get this update. So we'll be here, as I said, we'll be here at about 7:15 Jamaica time because the time here is UK time on screen. So, but we'll keep you posted. So once you have your post notification turned on, you will definitely get that update. So whether it's 6:15 or we're just not working out the time difference very well, but just ensure that you are sticking and staying with us. And if we have you on WhatsApp, we'll definitely send the link across once we go live. So that 4 by 1, and then we'll also have the women. So Jamaica will be fielding a team here, and it's good practice. And I suppose that Jamaica is also trying to ensure that other teams get that opportunity as well. So you're not just going because your men team needs the opportunity to qualify. So it's good to see the women team going. Perhaps not the athletes who are going to run, but hopefully some of the athletes who are going to run perhaps that very first heat, right? And so that is important to get some baton changes, to get some practice, and I hope that works very well for Team Jamaica as well. All right, so let me just check in the chat here. All right, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscription button, and let us continue to grow stronger together. All right, so the next Diamond League event on that we should see there is the pole vault for women, and the participants are, let me just fix this nicely for you. All right, Marie Julie, Molly, Emily, Olivia, Katie, Angelica, Tina, and Amali. All right, so if we're looking at world ranking, we should perhaps be looking at Katie as the favorite for this one, 4952 PB, and season best there for A3. So perhaps, there, but we'll definitely see what happens there in the pole vault for women. And over in the 400-meter hurdles, all right, for women, we have quite a few Jamaicans here in this one. But look, number one in terms of world ranking, we have Fenkable. All right, and season best 51.95. And we'll also have Rochelle, all right, Clayton, Jasmine Jones, Andrenet Knight, Lena Nielsen, Janive Russell, Cheyenne Salmon, and Gianna Woodruff. So a very good event here. So if you wanted to zoom in on something for sure, Fenkable is going to be out strong. And, I believe the hurdles are really out and about. Because when you think about Fenkable, I believe that she's trying to come back for our American there. My gosh, her name is just slipping me. That's not good. So somebody just remind me of her name. I'm just seeing her face right now. How can I? All right, I'll get back to her name, but you should know who I'm talking about right now. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm having a little bit of brain freeze, but that's fine. I know somebody in the chat will be letting me know. Is this Asian? Welcome, welcome. Donna, welcome. 242, listening. All right, work mode. All right, I totally get that. So thanks for being here, guys. Just remember to hit the like button. Sydney McLaughlin, thank you so much. All in the game. I know somebody is going to get me back on track. So Sydney McLaughlin Levron, for sure. And I like the fact that Dahlia, she's coming back too, but I still believe that Sydney and Fenkable, they are somewhat ahead in the field right now, where the 400-meter hurdles are concerned. But thank you so much for sharing that all in the game. And I'm happy that you're still with us, all in the game. Really happy for that. All right, over to the high jump for women. And let's just take a look at the participants here. So we have one Jamaican, Lamara Distin, in this one. All right, so Lamara Distin's world ranking is just right at about number 15. So the number one here is Yaroslava. But before we get to Yaroslava, we have Christina in this one, Charity, Elena, Morgan, Yulia, Yaroslava, Imke, and Eleanor. All right, so some top athletes here because Eleanor too. We should see some competition coming from there. Likewise, Christina. So we'll definitely see what happens for the high jump for women. And let me just take a quick look in the chat here. And all in the game is agreeing that it will be Yaroslava's show. All right, we'll see what happens there. All right, so the next event that we'll see happening is the 800 meters for men. All right, so this one is, let me see if I can line this up pretty nicely so that we can cover all the athletes, or we can at least see all the athletes. So for this one, we should have of Canada, Mohammed, Donovan, Max, Mark, Bryce, Ethan, Andreas, Ben, Patrick, and Emmanuel of Kenya. Now, in the context of world ranking, for sure, Emmanuel, all right, of Kenya. And then when we think about it, we should also see some competition from Marco Arop of Canada and also Mohammed there of Kane, and I would say Bryce of the US. So it's definitely a competitive one, and we are here for it, all the excitement, and we'll definitely, tune in to see what's happening. We'll be here, and we want you to be here with us as well. So, again, welcome one, welcome all. All right, so happy to have you guys here with us. So, the race time, we want to be here, and if we have this time correctly, Asian, we want to be here at about 7:15 Jamaica time on Saturday. But once you have your post notification turned on, you will definitely get the updates from us. And if we have you in the WhatsApp group, we'll definitely send you the link. Just in the event that I am miscalculating the time, but we'll be here. All right. So that's the 800 meters for men. Over to the 5,000 meters for women. Let's see what the let's see the participants here. So let's see if we can extend some more to cover all the participants, perhaps, but we'll just scroll down and let's just go here. So we should have Margaret, all right, Marta, Nadia, Fante, Rose, Chaltu, Medina, Inez, Georgia, Callie, Megan, Irut, Alexandra, Yenawa, Anna, Nazomi, Potien, Diane, and Jana. Now, this one, I suppose Nadia of Italy. So Nadia right here. Based on world rankings, we should also see Medina of Ethiopia somewhere there. And I'm not too sure if I'm missing anyone else, but somewhere there. All right, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on this 5,000 meters for women. All right, so we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. And let me just quickly go in the chat here. And let me just refresh, guys, because sometimes I don't see the comments. All right. So that's the 5,000 meters for women. And let's just go to the long jump for women. Let's see if we can get this all in here. All right, fantastic. So for the long jump for women, all right, we should be seeing, and I say should because things can change. All right, Claire, Larissa, Katrina, Anik, Hilary, Malika, Monet, and Jasmine. Now, based on world rankings, so if we're looking at the world rankings, would say Malika, all right, they're of Germany, followed by Larissa, then Claire, Monet. So we should see some competition there from those athletes. All right, so that's the long jump for women. Now let's look at the 800 meters for women. So let's just try to fit that here. We should see Sarah, all right, Lizanne, followed by, or listen, followed by Natalia Gould topping there, Claudia, Georgia, Shafiqua, Laura, Alima, Gemma, and Addison. No, this is a big field. All right, so I guess in terms of the competition, that in terms of a closely competed event, we should be looking out for Georgia, all right, Great Britain there. And we should be looking also for Shafiqua of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Gemma of Great Britain. And we could put also Natalia Gould top in there in the context of those runs. All right, so we'll see what happens in that 800 meters. But I believe the favorite going in this one is Georgia. All right, so perhaps the favorite they're going in, but it is what it is. All right, when the day comes. All right, so welcome, guys. So happy to have you here. Roll call. Let me know who is here in the chat. The next event is the 400 meters for men. And let's just go there. All right, between Georgia, Shafriqua, and Adi. All right, I'll go back and look for Adi. All right, all in the game. So the 400 meters for men, we should see Charles, Reese, Matthew Otzi Smith. All right, Colin. All right, Bayapo, Zakiti, Vernon, and Muzala. All right, so now Matthew Otzi Smith should be the favorite for this one, Great Britain, the athlete there. So should be the favorite. We should also be looking out for Mazala, all right, there as well. And then it's going to be, I guess, Charles somewhere there. Then Bayapo, all right, then Nene. So, but I would say Matthew Smith, Mazala, there. All right. So we'll definitely see what happens there for sure. All right, between those two. All right, I needed to go back here. You mentioned Adi, all right, for the 800 meters. Adi's rank like at number 13, so even goal topping, but we'll see what happens there all in the game. And the next event here is the 1 mile women, and let's see if we can get that up. Yes, we can. All right, so for this one, we should see Salome, Catriona, Abby, Esther, Agate, Linden, Sifan Hassan, Burke Halem, Sarah Jessica Hull, Sinclair, Veronica Sophie, Gea, Katie Godaf Sege, Reve, all right, Erin, and Marta. All right, so Jessica Hull should be the favorite in this, but you also have Godaf Sege. We have Sarah there, Burke is there. All right, so we'll definitely see what happens. Sifan Assad is also in this one. So we'll see what happens, all right, in this 1 mile for women. All right, fantastic. I'm going to put the WhatsApp number in the chat. So just send me your name and I'll just add you. All right, Asian? And guys, come on, I'm not seeing the thumbs up. So close the X and hit that thumbs up button. And let us just continue here. The next event is the men's 100 meters. No, I have questions about this one, or just my opinion, and I'm going to share it. So for the men's 100 meters, and let me just make this nice, and hopefully you guys are seeing this well. I believe so. That should be good. We'll have Jeremiah of Great Britain, Akeem Blake of Jamaica, Louis of Great Britain, Zarnel of Great Britain, Noah of the US, Oblique of Jamaica, Akani Simbini of South Africa, and Letsile Tebogo of Botswana. No. All right, so Lyles is going to open his season in the 100 because he did for the 200 in the last stop in Monaco. And I believe this will be it for Lyles until the games because he wanted to do like 3 back-to-back events, but he shared that the coach advised him against doing that. No. For this one, I feel like Seville could sit this one out, and I would not be surprised if Seville is removed from this list, is no longer participating in this 100 meters. I think that Seville and perhaps even Akeem Blake could do without this one, but we'll see what happens. But more so Seville. And, let me know what you think in the chat. So again, I believe that Seville could do without this one, but then if he does, then it will be a matchup between him and Noah Lyles. All right, so that would be the matchup. So if we should see Seville in this one, do you believe Seville is going to take the win over Noah Lyles and others in this race? So would love to hear your views there in the chat. All right. So that's the exciting 100 meters for men. Now we move to the 200 meters for women. All right, so let me just do that. We'll have Adelike in this one, Julian Alfred, Juju, Dina Asha Smith, Jail. All right, Brittany, Amy, Ashanti, Daryl, Nita. I believe Ashanti should be going for time here. Julian, Alfred, I don't know. Do you think that we should see Julian or Julian should take a break? I know last season she did, she run, and it worked for her. So I am wondering if this same strategy is going to work. But this is definitely a good team, a field, and I feel like Alfred is the favorite in this one. Brittany Brown should be right there as well. And we could count in Daryl Nita and then Dina Asha. So, but Alfred is a favorite, and I would say Brittany Brown should be there right close to Alfred in this one as well. So it wouldn't be surprising, but knowing Julian and her strength, that motivation, that power, that determination, I suspect that she's going to take this one. But Brittany Brown should be very close there. And all in the game is saying Julian should take a couple weeks off after this meet. I agree. I agree, and perhaps that's going to be the plan. All right, so all the top fans, welcome again. So Tech Gaming is a top fan here, all in the game. All right, Asian, see you there as a top fan, and Donna. All right, so again, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we have some top people here standing out on the leaderboard. All right, so again, thank you so much for for participating in the chat and for keeping us going. All right, so let's go to the next event that is going to close things off there in London. Let's see if we can get this on screen. And yes. So it's a 1500 for men, and perhaps we'll have to, let me just try and see if I can extend this some more. All right, we'll have to scroll, so let's do that. All right, we should see Seleman, Ben, Robert, Elliot, Neil, Oliver, Josh. This looks like Koish, George, Cameron, Isaac, and help me guys with some of these names and the pronunciations. So my apologies if I'm not getting them right. Gilje, Zan, Adam, Jude, Jake. All right, I believe that's the end of the list. And then this event is closing things out. So I suspect that it's going to be a Great Britain athlete who they'll have the focus here on. And it looks to be Josh, I would say. Josh will also, it should be closely contested there by Gilje. All right, so we'll definitely see what happens in this one for sure. All right, so that's that for this quick update, guys. So it's just to give you some expectations, and all in the game is saying Koe will win this stack 1500. Let me see here. All right, so we'll definitely see and look out for the Kenyan. All right, for this one for sure. All right, so that's it for this update, guys. So let me just stop sharing here. And I just want to remind you that we'll be here on Saturday. Ensure that you hit the subscription button. You turn on your post notification. All right, so tap the bell and select all so that you do not miss any updates from this channel, and join us for the excitement. We have been trying to update you for all the stops, and we're trying our best. So tell a friend to tell another friend about the Voices in Education. And again, thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you in the next live. All right, blessings and love, everyone. And if this is like the start of your day, your work day, all the best. And if it's the afternoon or wherever you're tuning from, perhaps it's evening, hello to you and all the very best in whatever it is that you're doing. All right, blessings and love, everyone. I'll just sign out with some music, and I'll see you in the next live. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're welcome, Tech Gaming. You're welcome, and blessings.